story is she swallowed a piece of this mat. She swallowed one of these tabs, which that one specifically. I didn't know what was wrong with her. I took her to our vet and they did an x-ray. They found like a square shaped object in her stomach, but we didn't really know if that was it. I was working off the assumption that she had eaten grass with herbicide on it or whatever weed killer is called. So the vet found a second vet that had an endoscopy, um, so that they could look in the stomach and make sure that was it. I took her to the second vet. By the time she got there, they did x-rays and the object had moved to her small intestines. So they offered to operate. I said, let's wait overnight. If it's already moved, let's wait and see if it moves through. Because I found pieces of this before, no poop. So we waited overnight. It was at a 24/7 place where a vet was on site the whole time. So if there had been an emergency, I had okayed like emergency surgery and stuff. Um, and then the next morning they did x-rays again. They said that it hadn't moved and now her stomach was distended with gas and some fluid. So it was basically a blockage. So I said, okay, let's go ahead and operate. I went to see her. I spent about 40 minutes with her. I got her purring. She was kind of drugged, but it, left her in good spirits. And then they operated on her last night. They said everything went well. The vet said it was bright green, so I went to look at the puzzle pieces and I found that one. So now I'm gonna throw them all away, obviously. But the vet said you can take her home tomorrow if she eats tonight. So I checked in at like 8 p.m. She hadn't eaten it yet because she was still on the anesthesia from surgery. They texted me at 4 a.m. this morning. They said she's been eating great. They said she's high off the pain or off I guess pain meds. She was high, but she was behaving herself. That's what they said, which made me think maybe she was getting a little active. When I had the three kittens, her and her two siblings together. So these were kittens that I found that were feral. They were named after hot sauces. So there was Tabasco, Sriracha, Rooster, and Frank's. Frank's had escaped. I couldn't remember the name Tapatio, so Rooster got the name Rooster because Rooster sauce. And I ended up Rooster was, I guess, like a foster fail. I ended up keeping her because she kind of attached to me, and I don't know, she was quiet. And like I had one video where I left the room and the other two kittens started playing with each other after I'd left, but she just sat there waiting for me, and that was really the video that sealed the deal. I was like, I'm gonna keep this cat. And I always wanted a cat I could take places, so I've leash trained her. She has a backpack and stuff. Anyway, so I get to bring her home. She had one incision in her intestines, so one split. They took the piece out. They went in through the spay. I don't think they do sutures outside anymore unless they absolutely have to, so they just do like a line of glue. So she has sutures on her small intestine inside. So I'll have to limit her movement. I'm gonna put her in the library and put her in a onesie and a cone. So if I have to go further, then I do have that tent that I use for kittens, and I can put her in there, and it has like a compartment for the litter and stuff. So that's pretty much it. The only thing we have to watch for, so the first 24 hours are risk, and then the vet said like 3 to 4 days. That's the next risky point. Like if the stitches, I guess, are gonna rip internally, it'll happen in that time. So I just have to watch her, make sure she keeps eating. But I feel pretty hopeful. The surgery was the scary thing. And I just keep thinking like she was probably choking on that piece. Like thank God she was able to swallow it. Otherwise, it would have been in and she would have like, suffocated. Had been suffocated. And she's so quiet, I wouldn't have known. So it was actually a good thing she was able to swallow it. And that's it. So she's okay. It was just a baby thing. I mean, I do feel a little bit stupid for not picking up those things earlier, but babies, they chew on stuff, they eat stuff. It just happens. You do the best you can to take care of them, but they have to get into some trouble before they, know how to get out of it. I always liken it to the way cats have curved claws, and if you've ever had like a young kitten, they don't always know how to remove their curved claws from items, and then they learn how to like maneuver their hand to get it. Or some cats, like my big cats, sometimes they just shake. But it's the same thing with other toys. They have to kind of get into a little bit of trouble to know how to remove themselves, and sometimes the trouble they get into is too much. So you kind of watch them, you pick up stuff where you can, but I'm not beating myself up too much about it. I feel like on the internet, like people could definitely blame me, but I think it's just kind of like a baby thing that happened, an expensive mistake, but she's okay, and that's what matters. So we will have some videos of a loopy cat on pain meds later, and hopefully some good purrs. That's it. Any questions? Or I never know how to. Oh, and here.